Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're talking about Dust to Dust on Babylon 5. And there are a number of things that are going on at the same time, all kind of intertwined. And a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all, I love Walter Koenig's portrayal of Alfred Bester, the Psychop. He is the classic villain, not the mustache twirler talking about how evil he is, but rather someone who comes in who is mannerly, who is genteel, someone who does everything that we've been taught to do, but often don't live up to. And the good guy is always the one that's hurling the insults. We don't trust you. We don't like you. We don't want you here. We'd like to blow you out of the sky. If we had a baseball bat, we'd beat you to death with it. This kind of thing. And even at the face of face-to-face insults like that, he returns it with, I can see some good in what you're saying, and I'm willing to be friends too. Of course, all of this is a put-on by Bester. We know from experience, and so do our Babylon 5 people know from experience, that he's up to no good. It's just that you can't tell what, especially in this episode where he appears to be actually interested in solving a problem that's happening on the station with something called dust. Dust affects the gene that controls telepathy in humans, and upon taking it, you can enter the mind of someone else. It is usually fairly violent. It causes some physical damage to the person that's taking it and the person who is the victim of it. And of course, it ends up in the hands of G'Kar, and the first thing he wants to do is go straight to Mollari. More on this in a moment. But so far as we can tell, Bester is doing everything he can to allay the fears of the people. He takes a telepathic drug that dims his ability to scan people. And he even comments that it's unusual how quiet it is in his mind as he's walking through the station. Something that, while he's not actively scanning somebody, there's always kind of a background hum, kind of an interesting thing. If you were a telepath, it'd probably be very annoying. Might drive you crazy. Nevertheless, that's pointed out there. And in the case of G'Kar having gotten this drug, and it's affected other people on the station, it's something that Dr. Franklin is very concerned about, we were able to learn a little bit more about Londo, how he was stationed to Babylon 5, and what the higher-ups on Centauri Prime really thought of him. And so there's that. We also see Vir, who comes back and is interested, Londo is interested in just how he finds Minbar. Vir, of course, is very positive about it. He likes the people, except for the warrior caste, and finds them all to be wonderful folks, and their civilization is thousands of years old, and things like this. And Londo says, yeah, you're just too naive. Nevertheless, later on in the episode, he advises Vir, don't ever treat this like some kind of joke. Take it absolutely seriously, which is not something you really needed to remind Vir of. But it's an interesting thing coming out of Londo. And then we have where G'Kar has an epiphany. He is visited by a deity in which he believes. And how that happens is also quite interesting, and where that's going to lead is quite interesting. But as you might expect, the problem with dust is quickly cleaned up, and despite a twist at the end, all is well that ends well. But there is a rather compelling story in all of this, and it intertwines between Bester and Garibaldi, between Delenn and Londo and Vir and G'Kar. And I think it's worth seeing, and it makes you stop and think sometimes on the concept of good and evil. Sometimes the silver-tongued devil is still just the devil. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to the channel, I would advise you please do so. That helps us out. We talk about Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine, and recently we did a review on the original Star Wars movie, now called A New Hope, and we're thinking about reviewing actually more older science fiction movies as we can get access to them, so that may be something that we will take on in the coming weeks. So thank you for joining us, and until next time, don't go far.